What's up, Truth? This is Ben. Haven't seen you in a while. And I want to talk about Cyber Demon today. I know, sounds weird. Actually, the name Cyber Demon is the name of a channel on YouTube. Cyber Demon 531. And the reason we're talking about Cyber Demon is, well, I don't usually interact with people that are, merely in it for the political views, like get into the political spectrum and talk about Fox News and CNN and what's going on with Biden and Trump and all that. I usually approach things from a theological view, but I thought, this is interesting. A buddy of mine showed me this video, and I interacted with it, briefly, and it was just kind of interesting. So I thought, yeah, it's a little bit outside my wheelhouse, but let's take a look at it. So let's look at the person's YouTube channel first. Their name is CyberDemon531. Joined in 2010. Been on YouTube 10 years. This lady has 3.5 million views and over 7,000 videos. That's a lot of videos. Over 7,400 videos, actually. This person's name is Andrea. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. And according to their YouTube profile, they are an anarchist, communist, anti-fascist, anti-racist, peace and love promoting white girl. Now, I think it's kind of easy to see that we can see, even just in her description, that there's some contradictions. An anarchist, communist, peace and love promoting. Those two things are kind of mutually exclusive. You can't be an anarchist and a communist and anti-fascist and be like, oh, by the way, I'm peace-loving promoting. I don't think that those things, they don't really gel together. And if you watch her videos, she's not promoting peace and love. She's promoting hate and communism and sin and division and many other things. But the video that I commented on was called Glenn Greenwald has bizarre temper tantrum over anti-white profiling. Yeah, I jumped in on this one because I thought, it would be interesting. As always, I like to put a perspective in there, and even if it's not, talking about something strictly biblical and theological, it's still good to comment and interact with people so you can promote clear thinking and category distinctions and correct philosophical thought. And this woman is not doing that. And Glenn Greenwald is a reporter. He's a very good reporter. Just been introduced to him recently over the last few months, but he's written a lot of good things. He's written a lot of very good things very recently. And I would suggest you go check him out. But she did what a lot of people do, and this is what happens with Christianity as well, which is why I think I wanted to talk about it. It's the idea of a straw man. Now, a straw man is a philosophical construct. And it just means that when somebody is engaging in a straw man argument, what they do is they promote whatever it is that they're arguing against. So if somebody was arguing against Christianity, or they're arguing against me, they would say, Christians are just hateful and bigots, and they just want gay people to go to hell, and, they hate Democrats, and they are all this, and they just hate this and hate that, and the Crusades. And then they say, okay, that's what Christianity is. So they've established their version of Christianity. And so they put that out there, and then what they do is they go and they attack the version of Christianity that they built up. But that's not the real Christianity. That's not the real version of Christianity. That's not what the biblical teachings promote. But it doesn't matter because they've told you what they want you to believe Christianity is. And then they go and attack that and beat that down. So their version of what they're saying Christianity is a straw man. So they're not actually engaging in what is actually being said or promoted. They're not actually attacking any real issues. They're just going after their version of whatever it is they want to attack. And that's what happened here with Mr. Greenwald. He was commenting on a CNN video where a gentleman wanted troops, mostly white troops, I think is what he was saying, to be vetted because, with a lot of people think there was voter fraud with the last election. And so this gentleman was arguing that we should have, screenings. And if any of the National Guard troops believe there was voter fraud, then they should be excluded from D.C. from protecting Biden. And it's just interesting. So she sets up a straw man for Mr. Greenwald. She doesn't actually interact with anything he said. She goes on kind of this rant, and she doesn't actually engage at all. And then I put a comment down below her video, and it was fairly sarcastic. Probably a little too sarcastic, but in the moment I felt a little inspired. And I said something along the lines of, you should invest in wheat. What with the straw men you've promoted in this video, you could bankroll an entire farm for several years. It was something along those lines. And her response was, I think it was LMA, whatever, it's a pejorative, something about pseudo-intellectual garble. And then I, of course, asked her to clarify, and she didn't. Because that's what happens a lot of times, and that's the point. The point isn't her, it's not her channel or her video. It's the idea that people spend a lot of time online and in real life wasting time arguing about non-arguments, non-issues. They build up straw men and they pretend that those straw men are the real issue, and then they attack those and they go, yes, we've scored a victory. We've defeated this enemy. But the enemy doesn't exist, because the enemy they're attacking only exists in their mind. It doesn't exist in real life. And that's why it's important to remember that theology matters. And not only does theology matter, facts matter. And facts are much more important than your feelings. But that only exists if God exists. Because if there is no God, there's no objective truth. If there is no objective truth, then my truth is my truth for my life, and your truth is your truth for your life, and it's all relative, and we're all just arguing for pragmatism, and might ends up being right. And in this case, I think we can see that. Because we could go after this woman, and we could point out all day how she has philosophical errors, and she's making category, not making proper category distinctions, and she's errors all over the place, and she's not actually arguing against anything substantive. But in the end, it doesn't matter, because she's not really doing anything wrong, right? If it's a naturalistic, materialistic perspective, she hasn't actually engaged in any moral wrongdoings, because morality doesn't exist. Might is right. If you've probably heard this before, but you've heard the argument put like this: if you say there's such a thing as evil, you have to say there's such a thing as good. If you say there's such a thing as evil and good, you have to say there is such a thing as a moral law. If you say there's such a thing as a moral law, you have to say there is such a thing as a moral law giver, from whom we get the moral law. But if you say there's no moral law giver, there's no moral law. If there is no moral law, there's no good. If there's no good, there's no evil. Life is all about pragmatism. So I hope this helps. I know it was just kind of a random video, but I thought it was worth addressing, and it was interesting to respond to somebody like this. Even though it's not technically a theological area, it's still a good exercise in thinking. So I hope you like this video, guys. If you liked this video, hit the like button. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button. Comment down below, what do you think about this video, and maybe her video if you've seen it. Subscribe to my channel for more. See you next time, guys. Bye.